Here's Roach in the right corner with it for Texas. Trying to weave around traffic. Snoop will step back to fire a three. It's good, and he's fouled. Turnabout is fair play, says Roach, who committed a foul against Mason shooting a three. Mason missed his. Snoop hit his, and he'll go to the line. The foul was on Bamba. Well, that was a 4-point play for Snoop Roach last night in the Longhorns win over the Baylor Bears, and we've talked a bit about Snoop. We'll get back to the moment. We do have a special guest joining us on the line right now. I always have Shaka introduce a special guest, so I'm going to let you introduce this guy because he's a pretty special guy who had a big game last night, by the way.
Yeah, we're really thrilled to welcome one of my all-time favorite players. I don't know if I'll ever get to coach another guy like this young man. He's having tremendous success in his second year in the NBA from the Brooklyn Nets. Jarrett Allen. Great to have you, Jarrett. Hey, tell us about, obviously you're in your second year. It's going really, really well for you and your team. You guys are, right now if the season ended, you guys would be in the playoffs. Just tell us about the progression from being drafted, rookie year, and now being in your second year.
Being drafted, it was a long process, but eventually got through it and got to a team, and we're rebuilding. So first year, we kind of had a slow start, and now it's coming into the second year. We're just putting all of that behind us and looking forward every game.
Jarrett, what was the first thing when you got going with the Nets in your rookie year that struck you as, this is a part of my game where I really want to be better at? And then by the same token, looking at it and say, this is part of my game, I know I can compete on a night-in, night-out basis, even in your first year?
So coming into the NBA, it's really getting progressive now. It's really changing how the NBA is. So I wanted to work on my three-point shot. And so far, now coming in, what I know I can compete with, I'm really good on defense, contesting shots, and setting screens and rolling.
You sure are. You know, one of the things, Jarrett, that I always appreciated about you, and again, I don't know if I'll ever get to coach another guy exactly like this, but just your joy for learning and how much you just wanted to learn more and put yourself all in when people were trying to teach you different things, whether it was basketball or something off the court. How much do you feel like that's been a part of your ability to have so much success early in your careers, the way that you look at learning?
I think it's had a huge part in my success. If you're not going in with a learning mindset and you think you know everything, then you're not going to get better in my eyes.
Hey, do you miss freshman orientation, man? Is that something that you wish you could go back to?
Honestly, I really miss it. That was one of my favorite parts.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know, we've done freshman orientation with our coaching staff. I think this is the 6th year. You are by far the best in terms of your approach towards it. Let's talk about Brooklyn, man. How do you like living up there?
It's a lot different from Texas. There's so many more people, so many more different places. It's an interesting city.
Now, Jarrett, I've been told this. You tell me if I'm wrong about this. Is it true, here you are, NBA guy, obviously earning a good living, that you still do not own a car? Is that true?
That is very true.
I don't know if he needs to up in Brooklyn. Jarrett, tell us about some of the things that you do living up there that you've learned to enjoy being up in New York.
I'm getting used to the cold weather. Can't say I like it yet, though. I'm also enjoying all these different restaurants around here.
Do you have a specific cuisine? Because, like you said, there's so many different restaurants in the city, so many international types of food, different things you could try. Have you found one specific kind of food that you've kind of gravitated to more than the others?
Yeah, I'm a throw curveball. It's ramen.
You still sound like a college student. Ramen?
That's one thing about Jarrett. You know, he finds something he likes and he will stick with it. Hey, Jarrett, we know, Texas fans know about your interest in computers. When you were a young kid, you actually put a computer together with the parts. Tell us, what have you done recently with just your interest in computers and technology. We know you're into video games. Tell us a little bit about that.
So for me now, I'm trying to expand my reach to young kids with computers. We started working with a group that's interested in film, science, technology, engineering, and math. So I go around with different groups of kids trying to teach them about that.
Do you still play video games, Jarrett?
Almost on a daily basis.
Hey, Jarrett, one thing that has come up a lot in the media is people making a big deal of NBA players playing video games and the amount of time that they, some guys put into that. Do you think around the league that there's some maybe that do it too much, or do you think it's just a hobby and no big deal?
I think it's just a hobby and no big deal. If people knew the amount of time we spend with basketball, then they wouldn't even think about the video games part.
Well, I'll tell you, when you bring that up, Jarrett, I want to tell a story about Jarrett. Jarrett, obviously he signed with us. It was pretty late. It wasn't until June that he, decided where he was going to go to college, and thankfully chose us at Texas. But Jarrett took some time in between the end of the kind of the all-star game circuit in early to mid-April and the start of summer school, where he didn't really do much with the basketball. Is that true, Jarrett? Coming into college, you hadn't done much, right?
Right. I was just all those years of basketball straight training. I knew that my life ahead was going to be busy, so I think I needed a little time away.
So one of the things that's been really fun is hearing from the guys that are part of the Nets coaching staff and front office about your unbelievable work ethic. They said by far you led the team in the amount of work you put in the facility this summer. So just talk about that progression for you in terms of the way that you look at working on your game and developing as a player.
For me, I knew the transition to the first year to the second year was going to be important, and I knew that the team would have my back in going to the gym almost every day. So I just wanted to improve in any way possible going into my second year.
Now, Jarrett, one of those is in the shot blocking. People are starting to keep tabs on all of this impressive collection of NBA stars, LeBron and Antetokounmpo and several of the other guys whose shots you have actually blocked. Do you keep a tab of it?
No, see, I don't really see it as blocking superstars like that. I just see it as me making a play for my team.
And see, Craig, that's why he's so good.
No doubt about it.
I'll tell you this, Jarrett. My favorite, it's obviously blocking any of those guys is unbelievable, but the 2 blocks you had against Blake Griffin, and you don't have to respond to this, but I couldn't watch those enough times because you made him look like a little kid. And, the Texas OU thing, he's an OU guy, you're a Texas thing. That was a lot of fun to watch, man.
Thank you.
Well, Jarrett, we appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the great season you're having, and we're following you, obviously, with great interest and excitement as well. Appreciate you joining us, and best of luck the rest of this season.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Jarrett Allen, the outstanding Longhorn from 2 years ago, who's in his 2 seasons in the NBA really making his mark.
He is, and it's not surprising at all. And, the interesting thing is when he was going through the draft process, there was a lot of teams that called and they said, well, does he really love basketball? And I said, yeah, the guy's a competitor. He loves to compete. But, he's not one of those guys that 24 hours a day is going to tell you that he's, he's obsessed with that last, whatever it was. But the reality is the guy in conference play in the Big 12 averaged like 18 and 10. So there's something to be said for that. And, again, I can't emphasize enough, Craig, how much his approach towards learning separates him in a positive way from 98% of players at any level. He talked about it with the blocks. He's not really caught up in, well, I did this or I did that. He just wants to get better. He wants to learn. And he has this way of looking at figuring things out, which is really neat.
No doubt about that. All right, we'll be back to take a look at the West Virginia Mountaineers when we continue here at Longhorn Weekly with head coach Shaka Smart from Learfield IMG College.